Alrighty guys, real quick, I'm back off the test drive, and guys, for the life of me, I felt, now first of all, y'all recognize this center console, 2019, wow, 180,000 miles, 2019 Grand Caravan. So obviously that's a lot of highway miles for this to be a 2019 model, and we're in the year 20, damn, what year are we in now? I'm lost. 25. Okay, so there's some bad shuddering going on with the torque converter. Now you got to be careful, guys, to my mechanics out there, new mechanics. Don't confuse suspension vibration with transmission shudder. Just so you know, the average, this is 62 TE. A lot of these manufacturers are advocating that their torque converter achieve lockup status at around 40 to 50 miles an hour. Okay, lockup, when the torque converter would lock up, and it has a lot to do with fuel economy. Okay, you can achieve better fuel economy if your torque converter is locked up at within certain parameters that the computer dictate. Now, when that happened back in the day, guys, I'm gonna give you a little history. Back in the day, when the torque converter would lock up at 45 miles an hour, if it was a failing torque converter or a bad torque converter, the whole car would just vibrate right at 40 at a certain mile interval. So back then, a lot of mechanics was misdiagnosing that as tires need balance, control arms, axle. They was throwing everything at it until, you know, we finally figured out what was going on. Okay, now I would go on a test drive and duplicate this stuff. Now, why on the hell would a mechanic think that suspension is causing that vibration if the vibration only happened? I'm talking, you can literally watch the mile per hour. You're getting up to 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Boom. Now, do you really think a suspension not going to do that at 41? I mean, why 42? That should have been an indication right there. So what that tells me, a lot of those guys were not even test driving the cars, trying to duplicate them. Bad idea. Always test drive your car to duplicate the concern. Now, I done got a little bit off track, but my point is, this car got transmission problems. Also, motor mounts will cause that, guys. At 180,000 miles, one could suspect the motor mounts are worn. They're nothing more than rubber bushing that's insulating, that sits between the engine and the cradle, the frame of the vehicle. You got to have something in between those two. In this case, we call them engine supports or motor mounts. Now, my test revealed a little shake, but you can't, when you're dealing with a high-paying customer, guys, they want to know exactly what's wrong with their car. So you can't really sugarcoat it or you can get burnt. You can't say, I think it's this, and we need to try this. You can, but you got to explain why you're doing what you're doing. In this case, I thought it was going to be hard to duplicate. In fact, it was. Now, motor mounts, like I say, you can put this thing, I'm running now. You can put it in gear with your foot on the brake and bog it down. Yes, I feel some vibration from that standpoint. But what I felt at 45 or whatever, it's a little different. So what I'm going to do at 180,000 miles, I just wonder, there's no check engine lights. 62 TE, the good about setting a code indicating problems inside the transmission. There's no check engine light, there's no codes in the TCM. So now it becomes a visual thing. So what I'm going to do is let the car up in the air, inspect the whole complete suspension system as well as the engine support. But the first thing I want to do, guys, is check the fluid, because if this transmission never been serviced, this problem is internal. 180,000 miles, this TE transmission service is due right around every 60,000 miles. Let's see, 6, 12, 18. Yes, that's 3 services this transmission should have had. Now again, guys, transmission service is designed to help prolong the life of it. All you're doing is replacing the filter and the fluid. The filter, because the trash that normally builds up in the transmission could accumulate. Where it gets trapped up is at the filter, which is where it's designed to do. So periodically, you're supposed to replace the filter and put in a new filter and new fluid. That will help prolong the life of your transmission. That's not going to make your transmission last forever. Nothing's going to do that. But you can do your part and help prolong the life of it. Now, I'm talking too much. Let's go. I'm going to leave this running because I'm about to check the fluid. All right, let's go outside and show you something. And voila, guys, my special tool to check transmission fluid on the 62 TE. That we got to get the cap off first. Yes. Come on off of here. So once you get the cap off, there go my cap. Then you install your tube. The car's running, of course. What I want to do is check the level as well as the condition of the fluid. We got to get it down here in the hole. All right, I'm all the way down in there. Let's pull it out, see what we got. Holy crap, let me smell this. Whoo, guys, that's burnt. That is freaking burnt. This fluid is not even red anymore. Guys, I guarantee you, this transmission has never been serviced. Now here's a dead giveaway. Let me let this up in the air. I want to show y'all something. I've been doing this so long, I can tell a factory seal. Now on these transmissions, we don't use a gasket, we use RTV. I can tell a factory seal RTV job. In other words, I can tell if that pan ever been off. If the pan has never been off, that means the filter has never been replaced. Guys, this thing got 108,000 miles. Let me get it up in the air. Yeah, hold tight. Alrighty, guys. What do we have here? Well, freaking well. Just as I suspected. Ladies and gentlemen, this is factory. Oh my goodness. It's factory seal. Good news, there is no leak. Well, who cares? Look at that. That is the way they are sealed from the factory. In other words, at birth. Yes. I can tell. I've been there. I've done that. This is the way I seal them. All right. In my opinion, it's the best way to seal them. Everybody different, guys, but I can tell a factory seal transmission. Now, as far as the motor mounts, see, I was expecting to see that broke. We got one right here, and we got one up top, and one on each side. So I gotta get my pry bar so I can move the engine along. But there's no need. I mean, there's still a need to do that, but we got transmission issue, guys. Yes, and it's not just simple as going out or going in. You can. If this is my personal car, I will pull this transmission out, replace the torque converter in the front pump, and recondition the input clutch assembly. This transmission will be back to, of course, you're going to get all the old fluid out, but hopefully you didn't damage the valve body, anything like that. But from a standpoint of a customer and the fact that there's no parts for this, they basically need a transmission. Wow. I mean, even axles can cause vibration under a load, especially the longest one. The longest axle can give you problems. It's a two-piece right here. Yeah, axles can give you a problem. I got to check the suspension. I got to check a lot of stuff, but for the most part, there's some internal stuff going on with this transmission. Now it's making sense from what I was feeling on my test drive. It's all about trying to duplicate it and what you feel on the test drive, guys. All right, I'm talking too much, and I don't want this video to be long. I'm going to check the rest of this suspension off camera, and yeah, the tires look damn good. Vibration under a load. And you know what else? Don't get tricked by this. What can also trick you on that is the ignition system. So bog the engine down, power boost it, and you see what I'm saying? And see if you feel a vibration from that point. If you do that, then yeah, you know it's secondary ignition system, meaning spark plugs or plug coils or things like that. But that's not the case. I actually did that. I'm just telling you guys, I also keep an eye for that as well. All right, yeah, this one not broke. I remember the last car I did where they welded them. Oh my goodness, cousin Pookie. Guys, I gotta go. I'm talking too much. That's all I have, man. We'll talk some more later, but she got internal trans problem that hasn't set a code because I don't know why. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I can feel when there's internal transmission stuff going on, and they never service the damn thing. Go figure. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thanks for watching.